What's up, the Langston Jules?
Hey, Paper Mate, what's going on, man?
You
How you
know,
doing?
I'm doing okay. I
Okay,
can't
okay,
complain.
okay, okay, okay.
Um,
Sucks up.
Hanging in, like I feel like the weather is getting better, so I can't wait to finally get outside. I've been pretty much like attached to my TV for entertainment for the
Mhm.
past year now. I've been
Yeah,
catching up on all these shows because I didn't even realize how little TV I watched before, but now that I'm home all the time.
so I'm getting maximum usage out of my Netflix account right now. Like
Exactly,
maximum.
my faves have to be, like, the spies, and the, like, high-tech action movies, that tends to be my favorite, and
Right.
like just like I watch Star Trek and I think like, "Oh, this is what the future is gonna be like," and stuff, when I watch these types of, like, techie spy films, I'm just like, "Okay, so let me see what's about to be next on here," because I feel like we're living through it right now too,
Yeah,
you
it's like a
know?
precursor to what we about to see. Like,
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm
right.
thinking, and a lot that I'm hearing about is, like, blockchain technology and stuff, and then you see things like, these things and these industries that use blockchain technology are all being like put on the stock market for open exchange and stuff, and it kind of makes me think like, okay, what do I need to know about this, because I feel like I should know, but even when I hear anything about it, it doesn't enlighten me to the point where I'm like, okay, I understand, I'm just
Mhm.
hearing it and I'm just like,
Like a
I still don't know what
buzzword.
that is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I feel like someone's to the point where like, feel like you should know at this point because,
I've heard it
but
for
you won't
years,
question it.
so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
that's the thing
blockchain. Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah. The blockchain. I feel you. Yeah, yeah, that one. Cool.
No
All right,
clue,
all
no
right. So
clue.
how about we talk about that for this episode then? Yeah.
Yes,
All
I'm
right, let's
down.
do it.
Black Hypothesis. Hey everybody, this is B. Langston Jules.
And Paper Mate,
And we are
Black Hypothesis, STEM for the culture.
So, Paper Maid,
Mm,
listen.
all right.
I've I have been through it. Okay, like I know this is not me going off the tangent. This just got me thinking about something.
Tell me about it.
So remember when I was telling you in the beginning, I wanted to get into a little bit of real estate, a little bit,
Mhm.
and I did try a little bit, so I was looking into this two-family house, and everything was going well. We did the inspection, and then we had my list of repairs, but there was one thing that was on the repair list that I felt was really important, and that
Mm,
was that there was an oil tank on the property, right? So I didn't want, any issues to be with like
we gotta take
spilling
care of that.
and you get sued by people. Exactly. So like, all right, seller, you got the oil tank there. Let's go through with the deal. But first, let's remove the oil tank with the proper paperwork. It's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. No problem. So some time goes on and the oil tank is gone. Like, all right, cool. Did you get pull up the permits for it? And a permit is pretty much permission from the town, it's like documentation from the town saying, uh, this project happened on this property, right?
Mhm.
And I felt like it was very important because the town would not let you close the permit if something went wrong. So if there was
Mm,
any if the tank got punctured and it spilled all over the place, they wouldn't have let you close it until everything was cleaned up and remediated. And that can cost
mhm.
like 20, 30,000. Like it could be a lot of money if you get stuck with that type
And
of
without
situation.
the permit, it's just like, I'm taking your word for it, right?
Right, exactly. So he told me he did it. All right, where's the permit? And eventually I found out he didn't have a permit for it. So he just
Mm.
did it and then filled it back in. Like, wait, so how do I know you did everything correctly? How do I know nothing went wrong? He's like, just take my word for it. I'm good. Don't worry about it. Let's just move forward with the process. And then I was
Oh,
like,
you
no, fuck that. We're gonna stop right here. It was tough, but I
exactly.
had to cancel it because yeah, I was taking on a big risk. So that just had me thinking like, yo, this guy was really about to sell me this house with no proof that of what he did. You know, I could have ended up with a house with a huge ecological disaster. You know, all these people would have got paid, the lawyers, the middlemen, the agents, everybody would have got paid, and I would have got stuck holding the bag. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like that lack of transparency is what I feel like is the issue. And I feel like blockchain could be the solution to that issue. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm
So
listening.
we'll dig into that a little bit more, but I just wanted to at least bring that up because I'm still like really excited about that house. Ah,
All right. Well, I feel like if that's the case, then there could be something to be said about really understanding what blockchain is and how it could work for each of us in our, different and particular situations. So, what I love to do, absolutely love, if there's a subject that I want to know more about, but I don't necessarily need to be all about that industry, I just need to know about it so that it can work for me. The best way to do that is to listen to an audiobook because that way I can just do what I'm doing, go about my day, work as usual, and be able to still retain the information in a book without really having to hold my nose to the paper. And if you're thinking that you want to learn more about blockchain technology and its uses, then I suggest you check out the link below and start your free subscription on Audible today to check out Blockchain, the Next Everything. Check out Blockchain Revolution. You can even check out Mastering Blockchain.
okay.
And reading or hearing these books read to you would really allow you to come full circle and have that knowledge to not only have conversations, but see if there's a way that you can implement the use of blockchain in your daily life to make everything easier. Check it out with our link below.
All right, cool. All right, so thanks for that. Now I think it's time to dig into it a little bit. Dig
Dig
into it.
into it.
Dig into it. So I like disruption. I was never like the disruptive kid in the class. I was actually pretty quiet, but I like disruption now.
I was kind of disruptive a little bit,
Were
but
you
only if
okay?
I was
I love
bored.
it. Well, things are really boring. So I feel like you're gonna really like this too. You know what I mean? And so the way, so when I say disruption, I mean more like, if there's like an industry or a way things are done for like a really long time, and
Hmm.
people like they can't even like people don't like it, but there isn't really anything they can do because then this is
Yeah.
how it is
They
and
can't
whatever.
like fathom another reality, really.
Right, right. And you can't change it. But blockchain, that's the disruption I'm talking about. And the present manifestation that we can see that in is Bitcoin. We've all heard of Bitcoin, okay? And it's a cryptocurrency that it runs on the blockchain technology. So I think the best way to first understand like how blockchain works and how it is disruptive, let's first talk about how cryptocurrency disrupted pretty much the global economy and how money works, since
Okay.
the
I'm
beginning
with
of
it.
time. All right, cool, cool. So let me take you back. Let me take you back all the way, all the way, all the way back. All right, close your eyes, do what you gotta do. But let's say we're back in the Stone Ages, or we're back with as farmers and towns are pretty much still really separated. And
Hmm.
money wasn't a thing yet. So if I wanted something and you wanted something, and there was like we could make an exchange for it, right? So that was
Hmm.
called the barter system. So for example, can I get your socks? And they're like, yeah. Can I have your mitts? Like, all right, cool. So that's an equal exchange, right?
Hmm.
So we both got something that we really wanted, and we're okay with the trade. Here's where that doesn't really work like in an expanded way. Let's say the socks that I gave you that you really wanted saved your life, but the heat was really cold. Then you go somewhere, you get your nails done, right? After you get your nails done, you try to pay with the sock that I gave you. And then the person like, the fuck? I can't pay with this. What the hell is this? And then no, they just throw it away, right?
Yeah.
They don't value the sock the same way you value that sock at the time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't equal. So that's where money and well, gold at that time, gold and silver, that's where that started to take place because it was something that was more efficient because everyone can value it the same way. Okay.
Hmm.
And everyone just took it as a standard. So if I said, hey, I'll do your nails for this much gold, like I got that gold because it doesn't have to be any fights or anything like that. So it's a lot more efficient, right? And
Yeah.
gold and silver, it maintained its value over time as well. so it doesn't spoil like bananas or milk. So that's why those wouldn't be good forms of currency. And the gold was also scarce. Okay, so that was like a very good thing to use that everyone across the world just accepted universally as something that held value, right?
Yeah.
But the thing with gold is it's kind of heavy. You know, if you walk around with some gold coins, one,
You got some hole in
it's
your
a little
pocket.
inconvenient. Yeah, it'll drag your sock, drag your pants down and everything like that. It's kind of hard. So afterwards, we switched to paper money, and paper money was a lot more convenient, just because it's just lighter and it could represent gold. So
Mhm.
back in the day, the U.S. our dollar bills was backed by gold, which is, as we call it, the gold standard. And what that means is that if I had like this dollar bill right here, this was worth back in the day 1.6 grams of gold. So if I wanted to go to the bank, say, hey, can you give me so, or if I came up with 10 of these, they would give me 16 grams of gold. And so it was an equal exchange, right? So it was actually
Yeah.
backed by something. Then fast forward a few years later, I'm not an economist. I feel like this is some fuck shit that was going on. Somebody said, you know what? Let's not back it by gold no more. Okay. So that's where we are now in the age of a fiat currency. And fiat,
Right.
well, fiat
Like the
currency don't mean
car.
like the car. I'm not sure.
Okay, got
Well,
it.
okay, yeah, like the car. But what that means is that it's backed by faith now or reputation. So
Mm.
if you look, so even if you had like an old dollar bill, it might say something different that's on the dollar bill that we have right now. So on here it says like legal tender and things like that. The other older bills, it probably said something different. And what legal tender pretty much means is that the U.S. government is good for it. Okay, we don't have anything to back it up, but just know based on our reputation, everybody knows we're good for this money. So you can take this dollar bill, and it's good for face value, right? So you have to have trust, okay? And because
Mhm.
now that there's no gold, and well, back then the central banks, they were in charge of making sure that all the money that was in circulation equaled all the gold that they had to make sure, because everything had to balance out.
Yeah.
Okay, but now they don't even have that. So the central banks now they have to try to stabilize the economy in ways where it's almost like they have to like make up stuff,
Yeah.
so in times of inflation, where people feel like, oh, this money isn't worth as much anymore, they're gonna start raising the price. So a lot of examples you see that is like in Venezuela in a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Like people are starving because bread costs like $60. Because they felt like nobody felt like the Venezuelan dollar was worth shit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. The most extreme example was in Zimbabwe a few years ago. There was a point in time where prices were doubling every day, to the point
Mm-mm.
where, yeah, that because everyone says, all right, so this is my Zimbabwean dollar, nah, that ain't worth shit. Like, all right, now I got to get more. So they started printing more and more money to try to catch up with the value that people were trying to say, oh, this is worth. To the point where there was a $100 million. They were printing $100 million bills. one
Yeah.
hundred million dollar bills, that wouldn't even be worth the stock that I just showed you on the thing just now. Like that's how bad things were. It got to the point where they had to abandon the currency completely and
Yeah.
start over and try something else, right? So I say all that to say is that there was a few problems. One, everything was centralized. Okay, to you have to trust the bank to know that, okay, this money is what it is.
Mhm.
There was a lot of middlemen, because that's what the bank is. Or if you use Cash App or Zelle, if I want to send you money, I have to send it through someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you have these gatekeepers, you'll see the corruption, like in 2008, 2007, whenever the
Yeah.
stock market crashed. All
You
these
have a
people
lot of problems.
right, all these banks was throwing out these subprime mortgages and nobody checked
Taking
them.
advantage of people.
Exactly. The whole world fell apart and then they just got bailed out. They just billions of dollars came out of nowhere to give to these same people.
Yeah.
That fucked everything up.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say this is where blockchain may have some solution to that problem.
And where there's a solution, there's going to be like interest in whatever that solution is.
But
Mhm.
this is how it works. So blockchain, it's an environment where everyone in that environment has a database or a ledger.
Mhm.
And if I was to go back to the examples with the banks, the way they keep track of their records, let's say I wanted to send money to you. If I wanted to send you $10, right? Someone isn't going to my bank, grabbing $10, running to your bank and throwing $10 into your account. That's not how it works,
Yeah.
right? They have these books and they say, okay, this is what the transaction is. They're gonna minus $10 from my account. They're gonna add $10 to your account, and that's it. And at the end of the day, everything needs to add up, okay? And that's the way things have been working for a long time. But think about this. What if, let's say, Paper Made, you want to sell me something, and you say, oh yeah, I want to sell you this car. The car is in great condition. You know, I've never been in a car accident. I never had to fix the engine or anything like that. And there's a record of things that you're supposed to do to show that. But then you say, let's say you was in a car accident, you totaled it, and that goes on a line. You can cross it out, or you can someone can make a mistake and that cannot be on there. You know what I mean? And that's where blockchain is a good solution to that, because it's not just you that has that ledger. It's not just a bank that has that ledger that I was talking about. When you're in that environment, everyone has the same ledger. Okay. So if you wanted to sell me something, I was like, hey, Paper Made wants to sell me this car. Yo, Jim, she wants to sell me this car. She said they never crashed. That what it says on your thing? Oh, nah, this look a little different. Yo, Amy, what does yours say? Nah, mine look a little different too. The transaction does not count. It's gonna be invalidated because yours doesn't match everybody else's. So it has to be a consensus, right? So everybody has
to have the same ledger, though. That's a lot of information.
It is a lot of information. I'm not too sure how it works, but everyone can like get the same kind. Well, I guess it's just data, so it's probably not super huge. But
but now our computers, our phones, they're just like so powerful. They're really powerful computers. So you'd be able to manage that kind of data probably.
Right, exactly. And the other good thing about it is that everyone can check, so you can't try some sneaky stuff, because everyone has to come to a consensus, say, what you're saying is true, or else it's not going to work. Another thing is that it's very hard. There's something called encryption, right? So even though everyone has this ledger, there's like it's almost locked. There's like a program that kind of locks it up. So not anyone can change a single ledger. Even if you could, it would be really hard to try to change single lines. And even if you did do it, the thing is, each record, which is the same as a block, each block points to the block before it, and that block points to the block before that. So everything has to match up. So if you change one block, you're gonna have to change all the blocks that came before it. You know what I mean? So even if you did somehow change it, one, it's not gonna match what everybody says. Two, you're gonna have to change all the blocks on everybody's ledger for it to somehow work, and that is almost impossible. You know? So it's very secure in that way.
And that's one of the selling points I've seen a lot too, is like, it's when they talk about blockchain in those action movies that I love, they're like, oh, it's really hard to hack. Like it's like impossible to hack.
Right, exactly. So I think that, well, besides money, I think this is really good because there's other applications that you could probably use this for, right? Like say, like you're in the public health industry, you can use this to track. You could probably use it to like track the spread of diseases, right? Let's say everybody has their own blockchain attributed to them, and you can track where everybody got down to like.
You know what just crossed my mind though when you said public health, I was like, what if you could use it for e-medical records? Like my whole life are e-medical records, and it's like so difficult because the hospital industry, I feel like, is so far behind a lot of the other tech industries that we have. But if we could just like go on the computer and like be able to use it similarly to how we can use our technologies in other industries. Like if I want to find a patient and do certain things for them, or schedule them for this or refer them to that, I could literally Google the patient but not Google. I'm using Google because that's like basically a verb now.
That's just
but I mean, search the patient up just like that, and you know, make my recommendations or send this like it would be an email almost. instead of
Right.
having to set up a portal, set up a, e-medical record, set up a chart, and all these other things that I would assume are, for what you're saying, the context that we're talking about, basically middlemen.
Right.
For middlemen
Exactly.
as well. I could just deal with the patient and do everything like that, and it's still very secure and personalized.
Right. And even on top of that, I'm leaving a lot of stuff out, mostly because I want to keep it general enough and I don't want to say the wrong
And
thing. But
simplify. I
right,
mean,
and
if we
simplify.
if we went into detail about everything, we would talk forever.
Right. And so, but on the other side, the patient, they can keep their health information under lock too, because uh, another thing that goes up blockchain, each person has like a key. So
Mhm.
they're the only person that has that key. So they can choose who has access to that information as well, you know? So it can
Mhm.
be accurate and it won't be subject to someone just breaking into an office and going through everyone's file cabinets and things like that. No, so it's a lot more secure as well. When I think about my job, we order electrical equipment. And sometimes when we write our specifications, we write in bold. We do not want parts from China, okay, depending on what the equipment is, right? And some vendors, they'll be upfront and say, yeah, they'll probably take exception to that part of the specification. But some people, they can probably not take an exception, and then we might find out later. And it's happened that they actually did have a part that came from China. And there's a
Yeah.
specific reason why we don't want that. So and so with blockchain, there's actually a really good example, a real life example anyway, I think. With Walmart, they had like a batch of bad fruit or something like that. So they
Uh-huh.
had to track it all the way back to like where the problem occurred, and they found it in like 2 seconds. With supply chain management, it could be kind of hard because it could take days or weeks of investigation to go back through records to find out
Yeah.
where the mess up occurred. You know,
Yeah. Same
so
thing with
that's also like
epidemiology.
right, exactly. So it could save a lot of time, a lot of efficiencies. Let's
Yeah.
say someone like in the
Yeah.
automobile industry, someone wants to buy a car. Some people, they like turn the odometer back to make the car seem like there's less mileage on it, and they can just sell it like that for more money. With blockchain, if you have like some sort of smart computer that just uploads the odometer mileage onto the blockchain, you can't say,
Yeah.
oh, and everyone's gonna know how much mileage is on that car. You know what I mean? So you can't try to fuck shit,
Yeah.
So I think it's a good um solution to issues where there's a lack of trust, or the lack of trust almost helps it because everyone has to check because no one trusts. So either
Yeah.
way, I think both of those really help as well. And also like blood diamonds and art, things. Let's say like if I'm a rapper or something, which I could low-key aspire to be, I just want like one major hit, make $1 million, and then just go off into the sunset, Trinidad James style. But yeah. Say you get some music and then you upload it onto a platform, Spotify, whatever. They can keep track of how many people listen to your song, and then you just get
Mhm.
paid based on how many people listen to your song. You don't need Spotify anymore. Like everyone, it can just be like almost like a peer-to-peer network, which is how it goes. Like people only work with um, the other individual. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's really good. You take out the middleman, which I think is good. I think it solves the problem with distrust. There's more transparency, which is also really awesome,
Transparency is the key. I love it. Gotta love it.
right? So I mean, all in all, I think it's a
Okay.
good step, and I don't know if it's going to solve all our issues, but I'm really excited for how
I'm
this is
picking
going to
it up,
go.
what you're putting down, and
All right,
so I wanna bring it back. Let's bring it back.
let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
I'm thinking, why is it that, because the way that we're talking about blockchain, it seems really huge. It seems like this really big change and big discovery. So I'm trying to apply this to the little guy, Like I'm trying to apply this to, yeah, this could do wonders for the CDC, or this could do wonders for a big hospital institution. But would I, as an individual, be able to benefit at all from it, or what do I need to know about it?
Mhm.
Is it gonna change my life in some way?
I mean, yeah, like invest in Bitcoin. I think that's like the first the first way you can really like get exposure to it, and And one of my concerns is just, since it's something that I feel like only, you know, white people or people like in fintech are getting involved in first, we might get left behind. You know, it's like, I don't want to say it's probably not like a gold rush type of situation,
Yeah,
but we need to
I
be
agree.
in that field. You know, just
I
like with
agree.
AI, just like with AI, what we were talking about in some other episode, with the biases that just naturally came about from that. You know, it could be the same thing might happen, you know, if we're late to the
Yeah.
party. So I feel like we
And
need to
that's
be in
why
a
we
room,
do
sit at
this,
a table,
right?
watch what's going on. So you're right, spread
That's
that
why we
awareness,
do this.
right? Spread that
Uh,
awareness and just make sure that, you know, this is gonna be the future. All right. You gotta be prepared, you gotta be ready, and definitely don't get left behind, because it's happened time and time and time and time again. So that's just
True.
my take
And
on
now that we know that history, since we know that history, I think that talking about, the problems that we face as Black people, as minorities, being excluded from or not considered when there are changes made. If you're now here at the start, if you're able to be present at the start of this new industry, if you're able to understand just as things are ramping up, then I think it would be so beneficial to make your presence known at that start, because then you could possibly prevent that type of bias that we're seeing always and usually occurs in these other tech industries, and I'm telling you, like, you're gonna know that blockchain is really the thing when people start getting paid in
that.
like Bitcoin and stuff like that. When you get that first check in Bitcoin, you're gonna know that, okay, this is real deal. We're in it to win it now.
Word, yeah. No, a lot of companies are already like accepting Bitcoin and stuff like that too. So that's how you know, like, it's almost it's untouchable at this point. You know,
Exactly. So get
get
in
on
it.
and miss
Get
the
in it.
boat.
We gotta be in it now.
Get on miss the boat. All right, cool. So yeah, so I really like where this is going. I hope that, you know, this is a really good episode. I learned a lot, you know, and I feel like I hope you learned a lot too in
I
the
did.
audience. And you know, I just let's get in that table, man. Let's make this money. All right, let's make this
Yes,
money.
sign
Let's
me
try
up.
to build these
Sign me
efficiencies.
up.
You know, let's start to build businesses. We're starting to use this technology as well, because you know it could really lower overhead for your business as well. You know, if you cut out a lot of middlemen.
True.
You know, yeah, let's definitely try to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Like,
I like
cool.
the idea of the autonomous like entrepreneur and stuff like that, not needing anybody else. But sign yourself up, you guys. Look at that, look up this information, read more about it. I'm gonna see if we can definitely have some of this information available to you on our website, and so that you can check it out at your own convenience. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have been interested or have already been involved in this industry and using it to your advantage.
That's all I have for me. Paper Made.
Bye
Pleasure.
bye. Pleasure.
Yeah. See ya.
As always.
Peace.
Guys, thanks for joining us today, and we hope you liked the episode. You can find us on all available streaming platforms, and please be sure to subscribe to this podcast. If you liked the episode, go ahead and give us 5 stars. You can also follow us at Black Hypothesis on IG. We are also on Facebook. If you would like to reach out to us concerning any ideas for the show, critiques, or you would like to be a guest, go on and send us an email at blackhypothesis@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Peace.